The latest from Trump world is a cheap fake, as it's being called, video, which sort of suggests that Joe Biden is so out of it, doesn't know where he is. That's just really what they're running on. Look, you may not feel as though Joe Biden is your ideal candidate if you're a Democrat, or if you're, just someone who feels as though Trump is corrupt and not up to the job, and, for any number of reasons, he doesn't belong anywhere near the White House. You may still not be crazy about Joe Biden. I think there's a lot of that. Although I would suggest that he is a fairly accomplished leader as president with an opposing party that is dug in hard. Yep. And essentially does nothing but try to block legislation. They're an obstructionist party, essentially. They're just playing real tough politics of the sort that we have seen with Mitch McConnell holding up the Supreme Court seat, et cetera. Anyway, more back to Biden. They have pursued the narrative that you may feel, again, if you're reluctant on Biden, that, you wish he was younger, and you wonder how his mental acuity is affected by his advancing age. Okay, so they've taken that and they have perverted it, right? They've just run through it. This is their big move to say Biden doesn't know where he is. He's out of it. And so they took this moment, which was not Joe Biden meandering with no idea where he was, and they have run with it from a propaganda standpoint. Rupert Murdoch's New York Post actually puts this headline on that still that you're seeing now: "Meander in Chief, Biden embarrasses U.S. with confused wanderings at World Conference." Well, actually, that's not what happened, because that still that you see where Biden is turned away from the crowd and he appears to be, again, they're trying to pursue the narrative that he was just sort of wandering off. Mm-hmm. Actually, he wasn't wandering off. He was walking over to paratroopers who were there, and you'll see it here. There is the paratrooper who just sky dropped in, and then you'll see there's another one frame right. And as he walks, you'll see those paratroopers there. He's talking to those guys. Then, is it his wife or no, someone on the staff there says, "We're going to take a picture over here, Mr. President," and she gestures that way. Mm-hmm. That's all it was. But they took this moment and they cropped out the paratroopers to the right, and they made it look like this guy doesn't know where he's going. He's wandering off, and now look, some handler has to point him back the right direction. It's absolutely not what was going on. This is how cheap and perverted and grotesque this campaign has already become.
But people will believe that. They'll see these headlines, or they'll see video that is heavily edited in a way that makes him look bad. That's really not the case. And that's the same thing we saw over the weekend at that fundraiser. He had this star-studded fundraiser in Southern California over the weekend, right? And had a moment after, I think it was a half-hour-long interview with Kimmel on stage, where he and former President Barack Obama are standing on stage and they're waving at the audience. It lasts for about a minute. And Barack Obama, Mr. Obama, touches the arm of President Biden as if to say, "Have you had enough? Let's head out," right? Here's the video.
Here's the video.
They're waving
Tony's
at the
got
crowd.
it going now.
I love you, Tony. Thank you. And so it's made to look as like, "Are you ready, Grandpa? Do you need help off the stage?" When that's not what it was. It was just it could have been a touch like, "Hey, you ready to go? Let's get out of here."
Sure.
Or don't forget, we have that meet and greet backstage. Like,
yeah, right, whatever. It's like,
could have been anything, right?
We're taking off. Come on up. Yeah.
Could have been like, "Hey, friend, I missed you. I haven't seen you. That was a great interview. I really like when you said this," or what. We don't know what they're talking about.
I wouldn't read too much into it, but I think it was a quick tap. Like, we're exiting stage left. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but we don't know. But it's made to look like, and it's being published by, all these media outlets that are making a big deal, like he's some doddering old grandpa that can't figure out how to get off the stage.
Well, that's their play. Yeah. It's pretty much the only play they have, which is Biden is too old, doesn't know where he is, and it's actually been picked up by so many people. The tech bros, that's what they did. The David Saxes, Chamath, that All In podcast, that's what they talk about, that he's so diminished, doesn't know where he is. I hear it even when I do KFI radio. They mention it occasionally. And this is again, I'm not saying that he's the same he was 10 years ago, but I think he's still pretty together. He's guarded in the way he moves. I think so is Trump. Trump is a smack talker. He's only, 3 years younger? Or is it, so you're telling me you're going to vote for Trump. He'll be Biden's age in office. If you don't think that that's an age that one should be eligible any longer to serve the USA as chief executive, then why do you want Trump in there? I mean, he's going to be the same age. It just, again, I have a bias. Apparently, it was not a handler. It's the president of Italy who was pointing him back the other way. Thank you, Copper. But all I'm trying to say is they are making great hay of this one thing. It's pretty much all they have, and it's offensive. I mean, to take a situation that's innocuous like that, that's completely innocent, and then completely turn it on its side and make it look like the guy is a doddering dude who doesn't know where he is, it's horrible. I mean, it's shameful.
It is, and that's, does that pass for journalism? And I really looking forward to talking to David K. Johnston about he kind of discussed it before regarding different topics, ethics in media. And is this, you want to say, oh, I'm going to make him look like a doddering old grandpa to get clicks, to get people to watch it. Because, the people that don't like him will want to see him in a fragile, frail state. Or maybe I'll convince other people that this is true. But what are you doing to your publication? And then you're putting out the stuff that's wrong.
Well, I mean, it's a propaganda right-wing publication anyway, the New York Post and a lot of the the Breitbarts of the world. These are right-wing, blowtorches. So they take this deep fake / cheap fake video and they get it out on blast. And then people like Chris Hultgren, who writes, "You guys are nuts to vote for a dementia patient." I mean, that's not who he is. You know that. Did you see him in the State of the Union, dude? Did you see him at the press conference? Have you seen him address some of these various collections of journalists? For example, on D-Day. How did your boy do on D-Day? Trump, Chris. How did he do? Oh, that's right. He didn't want to go because it was raining. I mean, did you see Donald Trump, your boy? You call Biden a dementia patient? Again, I'm not some rah-rah for Biden. You'll remember I didn't even want him to be the Democratic nominee back when the last election rolled around, when he was up against Trump. So I'm not some rah-rah for Biden, but I'll tell you, when you call him a dementia patient, I think that's completely unfair. Your boy, who is Trump, went off on this thing where the boat is sinking and there's a shark coming, and would you want to get eaten by the shark? There are a lot of shark attacks these days. I mean, you talk about a guy who is just a completely stream of consciousness moron.
That was not edited.
It's Donald Trump.
That was not edited. That was not edited. And that was exactly what he was saying. In this case, we're looking at a stage. We don't know what they're saying. Right?
Well, I mean, that was just a simple. He's walking off the stage.
Sure.
I didn't get, and I think you do hire an administration. Look at the people around Joe Biden. Look at the people around Donald Trump. I've told you before, he had 3 cabinet officials resign under the shadow of corruption. Look it up. It's there for you, okay? I mean, so I think on some level you have to look at Biden as accomplished. Now, you may not like the things he's accomplished. Maybe you didn't want the infrastructure package. Your boy, Donald Trump, talked about an infrastructure package. I actually was hopeful. I thought the political capital he had, the charisma that he clearly has, and the following he clearly has, and they'll follow him anywhere. He could say anything. He could be for abortion, against abortion, for infrastructure, against infrastructure. You guys who are like in that camp of those who are MAGA followers, you'll follow him anyway. And I thought he really would be able to push through an infrastructure package. I thought it was kind of exciting, like he could actually do something positive. But that's not what he did. He talked about an infrastructure package. I've got a great package. There's one coming up in a couple of weeks. I'm going to have it for you. I've got a great health care package. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to have it for you. Never happened. So the one thing I will say for Biden is he's gotten some things done against an obstructionist GOP. It's impressive. So
this is interesting. Doug writes, I reckon we'll see how it pans out in the presidential debate. And I guess, is that what we're looking for? Who looks more senile this time around? Like, who looks more cognitively impaired during the debate? That's who you vote for?
Well, Doug, what I wonder about is what I've just said to you. I mean, I hear this a lot from you guys. We'll see what happens, but when he has to address the nation on the State of the Union, you're going to see that he's really, well, then he crushed it on the State of the Union. He ad-libbed as he was heckled by the House chamber in different pockets of those who were, hurling insults at him. He ad-libbed. So now we're on to that. Well, that was because he was on drugs. And you guys have always got an excuse. Chris, let's face it, you're a true believer. I've dealt with people like you on any number of issues. You're a true believer. I'll never convince you of anything. You're always going to make an excuse for your boy, Donald Trump. And you're always going to find a reason to attack anybody who opposes your boy. In this case, it's Joe Biden. So play the dementia card. It's literally the only card you have. When you know, as well as I do, that your boy, Donald Trump, has lost a lot of steps. He never had intellectual curiosity. He never had a real intellectual capacity. He didn't read the briefings. They give him presidential briefings and materials every day. He never read them, okay? They had to reduce them to one-page briefings with pictures and his name in every paragraph. Look it up. That's what your boy is about. But you'd rather have him because the last guy, this guy, Joe Biden, you feel you don't like, so you hang the dementia thing on him. Please, dude, please. It's weak. It's really weak.
Google it.
Trump made it okay to be mean to one another and to promote racism. I do think being mean to each other, thank you, Wes. I think you're... Big shout out for the super chat. I do think that the nature of the discourse, if you want to call it that, has definitely changed and become far more rancorous and far more intense and offensive than it used to be. You don't hear, my distinguished colleague believes that we should cut back on women's... You don't hear that anymore. No one calls it, You don't hear Donald Trump ever say, my distinguished colleague. He calls it the Biden crime family. And Biden doesn't know where he is. It's changed, man. It's changed. Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.